Hi, this is Nick from Elite Outdoor Fitness. I'm pretty much going to cover everything in this. People seem to be really struggling with the strength and conditioning and where to put it in, how to do it, and they kind of just keep nailing it in, nail it. It's like going out for efficiency sessions all the time. They're going, why aren't I getting any better? Why aren't I getting stronger? Why aren't I looking any better? Okay, this is what I do. It seems to work for me, and it has a bit of a rotation as well, so you're not constantly training. You have a bit of a rotation, and also over a 3-month period, you're doing different parts of training, hitting the different components of physical fitness. This is going to help you with your tier tests and all that lot and everything else, and facilitate kind of good performance growth for like cross-country trail running, Bergen work and stuff like that. Excuse me if I refer to this, but it just makes it easier because I've got a few points to cover. Okay, accountability. Write it on your fridge, write it on here. Make yourself accountable. I break my weeks up into full body, over a 2-day period. Monday, Tuesday, full body. Thursday, Friday, full body. I make myself accountable, I write what I'm going to do. Yeah, at this first month that I'm on now, because I do rotations of 3 months, I'm not constantly training really hard, I bound it back down, and also in my last month of like CV and stuff like that, and working hard and racing and doing all the Bergen work and keeping up with all you guys, for example, I change it over and I start doing versus training that fits in well with the sprints that I've got to do and the uphill climbs and this, that and the other, by doing versus deadlift and versus thrusters, versus pull-ups and compound exercises and multidisciplined approach to training. So it works really well for me because then I drop off, deload, taper and all that lot, and race, maybe a couple of 2 or 3 races, and then I'm going to build back up again, and it works well for me. Okay, accountability, write it on your fridge door or whatever, and make sure you do those sessions. Don't be doing like an hour and a half. Sometimes I forget to stop my watch. If you want me on Strava, like now, I haven't even stopped it now. I'm not doing like 40, 50, 60 minutes in there. I'm normally doing 20 or 30 maximum, okay? Make sure you're doing something that's very achievable. You can fit that in a lunch break. You can do it in the morning before you send the kids off to school. You can do 12, 15, 17, 19 minutes in the gym in the morning, and you can get a lot from it as well, okay? Warm-ups, making sure that you warm up, just not per session and per exercise and also per month. You've got to warm up through everything that you do, okay? You've got to make sure that you're warming up all your ligaments and tendons and muscles to like support you when you're doing that exercise and support your running and stuff like that, as you would if you were doing 400s. You do heel flicks, you do high knees, you do side twists, you do different increases of intensity. It's exactly the same when you're doing strength and conditioning. But you need to do that over a full month, because you have to warm back into it again. You have to get everything to catch up with each other. A little bit like you do when you're doing your running. Muscular endurance is trying to catch up your cardiovascular endurance. If you're doing loads of hill work, you're doing a load of bike work, you might have strong legs, but then your respiratory system is trying to catch up. It's a little bit like that when you're doing strength and conditioning. Your ligaments and tendons, to a certain extent, and things like rotator cuffs, are trying to catch up with all your other muscle groups, but we'll kind of cover that in a second. So warming up. You warm up for our first month, and then capacity build for the second month, and the third month, deficit training, hardcore fundamentals, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But you also warm up for each session, shoulder rotations, etc., to make sure that you're ready for that session. And also range of motion. This is probably one of the most important parts. When you're doing a shoulder press, or you're doing a bench press, for example, when I'm warming up, for the first month, I'm warming into this. It's only after about 2 or 3 weeks that I'm actually starting to engage the full range of motion, for example, on a bench press, or the full range of motion, for example, on a rear shoulder press, okay, with a barbell, for example. What I am doing at the very beginning of each of those sets, whether it's 2 or 3 months' time, is I'm warming into it by going lower and lower and lower each time. With the exception of the first and the second week, I don't even go into the full range of motion. And what I mean by that is when I'm doing a bench press, I don't go to the bottom. I go to about 2 inches from the bottom, 2 inches from the top. And I'm only doing that because I know my chest is going to build back up and it's going to get quite strong, quite fit, just like your CV does when you're running. But my rotator cuffs are going to they're going to be lagging behind a little bit. Okay, so just give them a little bit of a breather, because they tend to get antagonized and hit quite a lot compared to the chest muscle and your muscle groups when you're at the lower end of the ranges, or the top end of the ranges, top end of the range, or the lower end of the range. Now you can be doing rear shoulder presses right from the back of your shoulders, but that's a lot later on when you've warmed into those kind of extended ranges, as it were. So that's really important as part of your warm-up, just for the month, but also for a specific session. So it's only after probably about 2 weeks that I'm going into the full range of motion, and I look back over those weeks and think, okay, that's 8 or 9 or 12 sessions over 2 or 3 weeks, and I think I've slowly warmed in to those full ranges of motion. Progression, I put 20 rep progression. To Make sure that you're not training too hard and all that lot, because it's quite difficult, because most people train too hard, but they never actually get very fit or strong. And it's because they're probably getting their progression wrong, and yet they get to a really good level and you go, oh, John's doing really well, or Deborah's doing really, she's really strong at the moment, but then she's always getting to that level and dropping off and dropping off and dropping off. Why is that? It's because you're probably progressing a bit too fast because you're getting fit and strong because your body remembers everything, but then you're not progressing from there. So progress nice and gently. And the best way to do that really, that I find, is don't put weight on until you can do 20 reps of something. That's kind of like a real basic way of going, look, if I'm doing sets of like 6 and 8, you'll get really powerful and strong, but will you be able to do 50 or 100 reps? And is it going to be something that helps you with your trail running and Bergen work and running or cross training in general? So that's something to be thinking about. If you're here and you're a power lifter, then this post might not be for you. Yeah, so the 20 rep progression, pretty simple stuff, but it stops you from kind of training too hard. Split week. I split my week down into Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at the moment, while I'm in this warm-up phase and to a certain extent into the second month. And I do strength, cutting in a little bit into the power, and some people would disagree with that because I'm only really starting at about 12 to 20 reps ish. That's the kind of range that I'm in on the Monday and Tuesday, to make sure I kind of like hit the strength side of things. The optimal reps for strength for a normal individual, and they call them normal because they're not trying to run up hills, they're not trying to like smash their quads on 20,000 reps on a downhill run and all that lot from the fan or whatever. We're talking Joe Average that just wants to look good, and they call the optimal reps 12. I would disagree with that. I would suggest it's right if you are very all-rounded, but you're not actually very, very good at a specific discipline. I would suggest for what we want to achieve, the range should be between, I would probably say anywhere between 12 and 20. But at the same time, second part of the week, Thursday, Friday, I do a higher rep range. I go from about 20 to 50. I build my strength up on the beginning of the week, and then I utilize it to try and get that extra strength and push the reps in, so that I can facilitate those downhill quad contractions and your hamstrings and everything else that comes with it. So I think that's really important. Okay, so I break my split my week down into 2, so I'm hitting my full body. Okay, vanity sets, and excuse me if I'm reading this again, but vanity sets and the ends of fifth session. Yeah, so when I come to the end of my CV, 3 months, I'm then deloading and racing, and I'm starting my progression again nice and gently. So I'm actually under capacity. I'm building it back up again. So where I was doing 100% in the last month before, I've cut myself down. I've recovered from all that. VO2 max, lactate thresholds going through the roof. I'm really fit and really strong. I can do X, but I'm only starting here. I'm only building up back up to here, so that halfway through my training, I'm hitting my maximum that I was doing last time, and I can go above that. But in the beginning phases, it's a good opportunity to add extra training, which is when I start this. So I'm doing my first month of warm-up and build-up sessions for the strength and conditioning. I also include into that vanity sets, okay? The good thing about it is that when you kind of add a really good quality, progressive CV package, and maybe a bit of strength and conditioning, obviously, with hill reps and all that comes with the Bergen stuff, when you drop off the other side, you should have lost weight, you'll be a little bit leaner, and your body is going to start to notice this. You're going to look in the mirror and you're going to think, just after a week of strength and conditioning, I'm starting to look good. I can see my abs, I can see my obliques, I can see my chest, I can see my shoulders, I can see all the definition in my back. This is really good because it will add to your motivation. So lob some vanity sets in there. Start doing decline type stuff so that you can get a little bit of lip on your chest. You know, start doing some twists with a plate so you can start to see your obliques come out a little bit more, and you can start pulling that middle section in. Because if you start doing that, it'll play to all your strengths, because people want to look good, they want to feel good, they want to feel agile, they want that explosiveness. And if you start looking the business, you'll start acting the business a little bit more. So that's really important as well, by putting some vanity sets in there. And to finish off with, I put fundamentals versus training, which means that you can go into your first month of warming up, like we discussed, the second month of like vanity sets and making sure that you're kind of progression through and capacity building. And I even do like hitting the body the same twice a week. But then in the third month, which is deficit training for the CV, I start to thrash my body a bit more. And you can pretty much hit your entire body every single day, maybe with 1 or 2 days off a week. And your body will be able to suck that up, because you progress through so much that you're doing this much capacity on your shoulders, on your chest, on your biceps and triceps and obliques and abs and core and back, etc., and your legs. you can do that much. And so every day you're only doing that much, but they're short and sweet. You might be doing 1 minute or 3 minute sprints on a running machine straight off and into like 50 deadlifts and then straight back on and like that. Or a run around the block, nice and easy at efficiency pace, and then straight in 2 minutes on the rower or whatever, on the bike, and then straight into like barbell thrusters or something like that. So you can split it up so that you're doing fundamentals, you're doing multi-disciplined approach to training, you're hitting all the components of physical fitness over an entire week and you're smashing your body. That'll make you lean. That will increase all your testosterone and your HGH natural levels, and you'll start to lean up, you'll start to look good, and you'll start to feel really strong. It will also fit perfectly in line with your CV training, especially with your RTG group. I know this is a long one. Thanks for listening. Chat soon.